A forsaken asylum echoes with shameful screams. Can one patient escape its horrors? Jake Miller risks all to flee the asylum's treacherous, echoing corridors or doors. The Asylum of Shameful Screams rises ominously in a remote mountain valley, its dilapidated structure groaning under the weight of decades. The stone walls, overgrown with moss and riddled with cracks, whisper tales of a tormented past with every fissure. Iron doors creak on rusted hinges, their echoes blending with the dim flicker of ancient lights in the shadowed corridors. The sky above is cloaked in a dense fog, a shroud that taunts any dream of escape. The cells confine patients whose shackled footprints etch the frigid concrete floors, silent testaments to their unbroken despair. On the walls, bizarre carvings emerge, scratched by desperate hands, hinting at rebellion swallowed by time. The wind howls through shattered windows, carrying a chilling sound like the wails of lost souls. Moonlight filters through the iron bars, casting faint shadows that spark a glimmer of hope in Jake Miller's weary mind. The asylum's outer walls, scarred by storms and neglect, stand as a grim monument to its isolation. The air inside carries a faint metallic tang, a reminder of the suffering embedded in the stone. The corridors resonate with faint, echoing screams, a haunting reminder of the asylum's name. Jake Miller, a steadfast patient of the Asylum of Shameful Screams, bears the years in the deep lines etched across his face. His eyes, burning with unyielding determination, cut through the darkness of his cell. His sparse belongings, a rusted cot sagging under a tattered blanket, offer scant comfort in this bleak prison. One restless night, during a guard's brief lapse in vigilance, he discovers a bent metal rod concealed beneath a loose floor tile. This could be the tool to exploit a flaw in his confinement. Water seeps relentlessly through the walls, dripping onto his outstretched hand, a mocking echo of the freedom just out of reach. A crumpled note, snatched from a careless orderly and hidden under his mattress, serves as his clandestine map. Its frayed edges reveal a faint sketch of an underground tunnel. As the wind whistles through the barred window, Jake's plan begins to form, shaped by years of quiet observation and desperate hope. The rhythmic thud of guard boots nears, and he presses the rod against the wall. The metal's shrill screech nearly drowns his racing heartbeat. In the corner, a rat scurries by, its tiny eyes glinting, a fleeting companion in his solitude. The cell's damp ceiling drips steadily, the sound a constant reminder of the decay around him. The floor's uneven stones press into his knees as he works, adding to his resolve. The walls seem to close in, amplifying the distant cries that echo through the night. The opportunity strikes under a blanket of midnight fog, obscuring the guard's sharp gazes. Jake forces the metal rod into the wall's deepest cracks, each thrust releasing a sharp crackle that pierces the silence. A cold draft seeps through the widening gap, filling his lungs with the elusive scent of freedom. As the fissure grows, a hidden tunnel mouth emerges, its dark passage plunging into the asylum's uncharted depths. The tunnel walls are scarred with ancient scratches, remnants of other failed escapes, their stories left unfinished and haunting. Jake advances, his boots splashing through shallow puddles that mirror the tunnel's uncertain end. Suddenly, a guard's lantern beam slices through the fog above, painting his shadow against the rough stone. He freezes, holding his breath, blending into the shadows. This moment balances on the knife edge of survival. At the tunnel's end, an iron grate looms, the last obstacle to liberty, its bars slick with condensation. The grate's hinges, encrusted with rust, resist his efforts, testing his endurance. A distant rustling from deeper within suggests unseen threats lurking in the dark. The tunnel's air grows heavy, carrying the faint echo of past screams. Wrestling with the grate, the metal emits a grating groan, a sound that could summon the guards. Jake jams the rod into the grate's corroded joints, his muscles straining with every move. With a sudden lurch, the grate shifts, sending his pulse soaring. The outside wind rushes in, offering the first breath of liberation. Yet, a guard dog's sharp bark cuts through the stillness, endangering his precarious plan. As the dog's growls approach the tunnel's mouth, Jake heaves the grate aside, racing against the clock. Stepping into the open, the jagged silhouettes of the mountains rise before him, a symbol of hope. But guard lanterns sweep closer, their beams relentlessly tracking him. Running, the rocky terrain slices his feet, each cut a toll for his freedom. On the mountainside, a cave opening gapes, his final sanctuary, framed by jagged stones casting long shadow. The cave's interior resonates with the drip of water, its walls shimmering with mineral deposits. The sound of dripping water mixes with the lingering echoes of the asylum's cries. Within the cave, a faint glow startles him, emanating from the charred remnants of an old torch propped against the wall. The stone surfaces are inscribed with cryptic symbols, each a testament to past escape attempts. As Jake regulates his ragged breathing, a low, eerie moan echoes from the depths, as if the asylum's spirit persists. Shifting a loose rock, he unearths a weathered map, its faded lines tracing a path to a mountain pass beyond. Studying it, he hears the guard's shouts intensifying outside, a stark reminder of his dwindling time. A small puddle in the corner quenches his thirst, though its chill seeps into his bones. Resolved, he commits to the map's guidance, his last lifeline. Squeezing through a tight crevice, the rocks groan and shift, hinting at a possible trap. The crevice's walls, coated in slimy algae, challenge his grip with every step. At its end, a thin ray of light pierces the darkness, a beacon of hope. The light flickers, reflecting off the wet stone, casting eerie shadows across the narrow passage. The crevice's tight space amplifies the sound of his labored breathing. Approaching the light, the guard's dogs reach the cave's entrance, their barks reverberating off the walls. Jake sprints toward the glow, stumbling over loose stones that hinder his pace. Reaching the exit, a vast valley unfolds before him, promising a fresh start. Guard lanterns flood the cave's mouth, illuminating his fleeting silhouette. With a final reckless leap, he dives down the valley slope, risking everything. A roaring river surges below, sweeping him away from his pursuers. The frigid water engulfs him, the price of his newfound liberty. Clambering onto the riverbank, the guard's voices fade, a herald of triumph. Yet, a shadowy figure stirs in the valley's depths, its movements suggesting an unseen watcher. The figure lingers, as if observing, before dissolving into the mist. The valley's air carries a faint pine scent, a stark contrast to the asylum's oppressive odor. A soft breeze rustles the grass, adding a touch of life to the scene. The valley floor is dotted with wildflowers, a subtle sign of renewal. As dawn breaks, the sky ignites with an orange hue, rekindling Jake's fading hope. Trudging through the valley, he stumbles upon an abandoned shack, a potential refuge. Pushing open the creaking door, a dusty journal tumbles into view, its pages chronicling another patient's desperate flight. The journal's brittle leaves crackle, the ink faded but legible, some pages stuck together from dampness. Reading it, he realizes the guards continue their pursuit, keeping him on edge. From the shack's grimy window, he watches the mountain silhouettes, still overshadowed by the Asylum of Shameful Screams. The journal outlines an escape route, becoming his new mission. Lifting a warped floorboard, he reveals a trapdoor leading to a concealed tunnel. The trapdoor groans under his weight, exposing a damp, narrow passage reeking of earth and decay. Opening it fully, the tunnel stretches ahead, his ultimate path to freedom. The tunnel's walls glisten with moisture, reflecting his torchlight, and the floor is scattered with small pebbles and debris. The tunnel's air carries a faint, musty whisper, as if the past lingers. Navigating the tunnel, a low rumble beneath the stones signals hidden dangers. Jake proceeds with caution, each step risking a cave-in. The ceiling drips steadily, the sound a relentless drumbeat of tension. The tunnel's air grows thick with the musty odor of confined earth, and the walls bear faint traces of old soot and scratches. The passage narrows at points, forcing him to squeeze through tight spaces. At the tunnel's end, a brilliant beam of light breaks through, a symbol of daylight's promise. Emerging into an open clearing, he finds himself beyond the asylum's grasp. But a helicopter's droning hum fills the air, threatening his escape. The helicopter's searchlight sweeps the terrain, casting long shadows across the ground. A nearby forest offers concealment, and he slips into its embrace. The forest floor, blanketed with damp leaves, muffles his footsteps, and the trees rise with gnarled branches overhead. Pausing by a riverbank, he faces the water as his final barrier. The river's swift current mirrors the moonlight, its surface rippling with urgency, and the banks are lined with smooth pebbles glinting in the light. Across its span, a village's warm lights twinkle, hinting at a new life. Running onward, guard lanterns pierce the forest's edge, testing his waning strength. The lantern's beams weave through the trees, drawing nearer, their light reflecting off wet leaves. Diving into the river, the current sweeps him toward freedom, a triumphant crescendo. As he breaks the surface, the village lights grow brighter, a guiding star for his new beginning. The water's chill invigorates him, a stark contrast to the asylum's cold, and he swims with renewed vigor, the riverbank drawing closer with each stroke. The sound of rushing water fills his ears, a symphony of liberation as he nears safety. The distant hum of the helicopter fades, replaced by the gentle lapping of waves against the shore. The river's edge reveals a small, hidden path leading toward the village, a final sign of hope.